radio station in the Inland Empire. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Express 106.5 FM.
Hey, Raphael Davis back here with the Real Men of Real Estate. I'm glad to be here today. Again, that's Raphael Davis with D&D Capital Solutions. I'm in the studio today with some guests that I've had on before. I had such a great time with them that I invited them back, and I'm happy to have them here. One of them is actually one of my partners in the other half of D&D Capital Solution is Stephen Darling. Hey, and my man Vic Bell, the general of Bell Capital. Man, how you guys doing today?
Doing great today. Thanks so much for having us on again. I appreciate it.
Oh man, it's always a pleasure, man. I mean, the last time I had you guys on the show, it was such a great show, such a informative show. So much to learn. I actually learned a lot of stuff myself, so it was awesome. So when I was having another show in this series, I said, you know what guest do I want to have on there? I'm like, I'm gonna go back to my favorite guest, and so have them back on and to see what's going on, these days with you guys. I'll start with you, Vic. Let's just go right into it. Like, what are you working on these days right now that's most exciting to you?
Honestly, it's been an ongoing thing, which is what we were working on last time, which is my fund. Being able to go after bigger deals and to really get into that space where I'm actually finally feeling like I'm doing something that's more up to my potential. That's what I'm the most excited about. I moved here to San Diego, to this market for that purpose. And just I also know too, like that's my goal is to help people make money. Gotcha. That's a personal purpose for me. It's a duty in my head. You hear me say wealth is my duty all the time, but you can't just create wealth for yourself, right? That's selfish. My thought process is I want to be the person that changes people's financial condition. And I know that with what we're doing with Bell Capital, I can do that through the multifamily property, larger properties, being able to give people an opportunity to get deals that they wouldn't normally be able to get on their own. So that's super exciting for me. That's a hot button, man. I'll burn up all the minutes on your show.
Hey, that sounds exciting, and I know that you personally about that whole building wealth for people. Like I shared, I think on one of the other shows about when I read in one of your books, a roof with 1 unit below or a roof with 10 units below. Yeah. And that changed my whole thought process when it comes to investing, in the future. My partner Steve has heard me say this, all this year. I'm like, man, every time we make money, every time we make, after I make sure the family's taken care of, bang, that's where it's going. So money goes back into our business and into investing. Right. Back into our business, into investing, and taking care of the family. Right. What about you, Steve?
Number one, I want to say I'm so glad to be able to join with Vic again, because it's just being able the opportunity to absorb and hear about the investment opportunities coming to San Diego, where Raph and I are both relocated from different states. And here, just the positive reinforcement of San Diego, the investment opportunities, and getting out there and doing that, because it's something I've had a long-term goal about, and so it just excites me that Raph and I will get the opportunity, hopefully one day, to invest and succeed in these types of things with Vic. So I love that you're here and we get to pick your brain.
Absolutely.
In regards to the what I'm most excited about right now, there's kind of a two-part answer to that one, because the first part was a goal succeeded. Part of that goal succeeded was Raph and I had a goal to become direct lenders correspondents by the end of 2021. December 2021, we finally got that opportunity. Nice. And we got approved for multi-millions for a line, in essence. So what that means in the lending world is you've got wholesale brokering, wholesale lending, and then the next step is non-delegated lender or delegated lender. Big lenders you see on TV, Rocket Mortgage, this and that, they're delegated lenders. I'm with what you call a non-delegated lender, means I was approved, but I don't want to hire underwriters, etc., so I use their underwriters. Similar concept, but I don't have as much overhead. And we got approved for that. And so now we are direct lenders. It's super exciting. It's a new function. It's something new to learn. We're selling the loans on the secondary market. It's fun, exciting new stuff. Accomplish that goal, and we're going to continue to drive towards that goal so that we have the most amount of products available to anyone and everyone we can help. The thing I'm most excited about working on right now is called HUD 184 approval. I got approved with a big bank called Tribal One Mid-America. I'm almost approved. Any day now will be approved with HUD 184. HUD 184 is the government entity that allows you to do special Native American financing. The moment I get approved for that, we're going to be able to reach out to a lot of the local tribes, do classes, help others understand, create generational wealth, and do special programs through Tribal One Mid-America to help Native Americans get financing or understand something that they would have not in the past. And so super excited about that,
That's
super pumped
cool.
for that. And
Congratulations
that's
on
what
that,
we're
man.
working on.
Absolutely, and I knew about that because I mentioned it to some I mentioned it to some people, and they've not stopped calling me. Hey, you guys approved yet, man? What 184? So apparently, Steve know more about that than I do.
Right.
It's a big deal, you know.
That's
So
cool, man.
you know,
Congratulations
so
on that. That's huge.
yeah,
That is
it's
huge.
it's definitely a big deal. So that's going to be exciting for us and exciting for the companies and everything moving forward. So, real quick, just to touch on some of the stuff that we left off last time. Well, not left off, but for anybody new that's listening, VA no longer has a ceiling, right?
Right.
No longer has
No
a cap.
cap.
No cap on the VA loan, which is huge. And if the VA loan is a loan that's backed by the government. So if there's any military people or anyone out there that's listening, remember that VA doesn't have a cap. Also on the VA, they do 100% 100% cash out, right?
Yeah, and not every lender has the availability for that. We luckily do.
Right.
We can do 100% cash out refinances up to, the investors will put their cap on it. So even though there is no cap, but let's say 3 million, 5 million, there isn't people that are going to be seeking that much on a VA loan in San Diego County. It's going to be more so 800, 900, a million, somewhere around those ranges, 500, 600, whatever the case may be. But at this point in time, there is no cap on getting 100% financing VA. VA is guaranteed. FHA is insured. That's why you have the MIP. And conventional is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I can elaborate on that kind of stuff if needed. But at this juncture, those are the things that are available. Non-QM, special financing, private money, all of that is available to you guys anytime.
Gotcha. So remember that if you're in the military and you want to pull some of that cash out, that you can do that and you'll have it to invest. I wanted to ask Vic real quick because he also has a fund over at Bell Capital. And what does it take, Vic, to actually invest in your fund? So if someone got money sitting around, a few $100,000 or something like that, which we know the banks are not paying them anything on, but if they want to come to you and try to, earn, and create wealth, basically that's what we're doing. What would they need to do in order to do that?
Yeah, well, first, this is a accredited only fund, so that, they'd have to be accredited. And what that means basically is you make $200,000 a year or more, or you have a combined household income of $300,000 a year between the spouse, or you have $1 million in net worth, not including your primary residence. That's vital. All right, I'll share that on that later. It's another hot button of mine. So, but that's how. And other than that, they will go to Bell-Capital. They can schedule a call with myself or somebody on my team, or they can reach out to me directly. That's what that. I mean, again, it's a little different dealing with investments and talking about investments and stuff like that. It's a different type of thing, if that makes sense, right? But I'm willing to have that open line of communication with anybody. I think that's the biggest thing about me is transparency. Gotcha. So, but they're welcome to do that. Now, if you have $100,000 you want to invest or $1 million you want to invest, they're welcome to invest. And naturally, any investments that we have are all going to real estate,
Gotcha.
Multifamily, income-producing real estate, already income-producing, no build and spec and anything like that, and B-class properties, great areas, great locations, nice things that you can be proud of to say, okay, my investment is in there. Okay,
Right.
so that's huge for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you say, if I may interject,
Yeah.
accredited,
Mm-hmm.
You said accredited investor?
Yeah. So there's accredited, and being accredited is basically, it's purely arbitrary. Someone made it up someplace that basically says if you make $199,900.99 whatever cents, you aren't smart enough to invest without somebody standing over you, which is totally. And the fact is, we are all accredited. Everyone starts off as an unaccredited
So it's like
investor.
a regulation, like Fannie
Absolutely,
Freddie. It's
absolutely.
a regulatory thing.
It is,
Okay.
It's SEC actually. So at some point, to invest, you have to make a certain amount of money because there's risk in all investments. So knowing that, the thought process is like, and this is just my assessment. So when I talk to people, like, look, the thought process is that if you invest money and something goes wrong, this is what the SEC it keeps people from preying on old grandmothers and they're taking their last red cent. Never going to make any more money because there was a lot of unscrupulous things happening at the time. To where somebody has an understanding of investments enough to where they understand the risk. And be honest with you, I paid a lot of money to start a fund. So all the documents, all the disclosures, everything is in there. As a matter of fact, even to get involved with us, you got to either verify that you have to verify. You don't have to either, because this is not self-verification. You have to verify that you are accredited by taking paper to your accountant and or your CPA and have them actually sign off on it saying that you are accredited to invest. And this is why I tell people, if you have a business and or you're a person, you need to get your income up. Because at some point, some of the best investments out there, you cannot play in. Like my mom cannot invest in my fund, which is she's the person who needs it the most. Or my dad, who's been working, he's like 66 and they're both in that age. They can't go into that fund, which is unfortunate because that investment will be a better investment for them, even if they have the money. Which is why I tell people also, and I'm sorry, I'll share this with people. You need to get to the part where you have a business, your revenue is up and above at least 200 grand minimum, right? You got to do that. And your primary residence is not a part of, people are like, oh, it's my net worth, and people are like, that's why I bought a home. It's not. Because if SEC says you can't invest unless you have $1 million net worth, excluding your primary residence, then your home is not an asset.
Gotcha. That's good information. Hold that thought. Real Men of Real Estate, we'll be back after this short break.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
Okay, Raphael Davis back with the Real Men of Real Estate. If you're just tuning in, I'm sitting here with Stephen Darling of Your Darling Lender and Victor Bell Bell Capital. Man, we're off to a great conversation. We were just, we were in it. So if you were listening prior to, you heard what was put out. Vic was just explaining what an accredited investor was to us, and I know I had to kind of break really quick, because we had to take a break. Good. But hey, man, if you were on it, was there anything else you needed to add to that point?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is important for people out there who are looking for financing and lending and hard money loans and conventional financing, is because you hear me say it all the time. You cannot create wealth without financing a good debt and having investments. Like investments create wealth. So if let's say you have a business or you have your own job or you're going to buy a property, like start taking a look at investment property, like we talked about in a different episode. Hey, you're trapped equity. That's another source of capital. If you're not going to raise capital, well, that is raising money, right? You refinancing is still raising money. Buy a second property. That second property you buy that has $200,000 worth of equity that you took out of a home. Now it's appreciated. You're renting it. You have income. Now you have. You have some management experience, even if it's one property, a duplex, fourplex, whatever. I suggest go bigger, but if you're starting there, that's how you build enough of your net worth, right? Because you can say, okay, fine, I got 3 properties, there's $1 million worth of equity in these homes. Now you're an accredited investor.
Which is huge, because how many times have we talked to guys, individuals, whoever, groups, companies that want to get into the flip game. I want to be an investor. I want to flip houses, this and that. What do I need to do? What kind of experience do I need to have, Raph? What kind of money can you get me? Without the understanding of what Vic just said, you will never become accredited until you understand it, put it together correctly, come to us to get the money,
exactly,
and then invest properly.
Well, we keep talking about, man, you need partners. That's it.
Yeah,
you heard me say one of my biggest things is trying to do it by myself. So even though I made myself accredited, I mean, and this is real. When you have investment property, you go to zero again by selling it, you're no longer accredited.
See, so it's a
right. So this is why I go into long-term holding. Yeah. Like, you have to have something to hold. So when you get multifamily property that continues to pay you, now you have income coming in. You said my four incomes to focus on to be wealthy: working income, passive income, and residual income, and equity. So now if you say, fine, I'm working, I have a job that makes me X amount of dollars, or I have a business that makes X amount of revenue. Now we have residual income. I bought a property, fine, I manage it. We have a management company, whatever, that's residual. I invest the money that I make overage from my business or savings or self-directed IRA into property that I don't have to mess with, and that money keeps paying me. And by the way, I have equity in this rental property that we own personally. I have equity in this investment opportunity that we invested in at Bell Capital. I have equity in my own business because now we're doing our books right, like you said, right? We're doing my books right. I can hand my business to somebody else with documented proof of revenue and employees and everything else to show that my business is worth 4 times, 7 times multiple. All that's valuable.
Right. So that experience right there is how Raph's going to get you the loan you need to buy that next house.
Absolutely.
Right. Man, I wish I had this when I was younger. Somebody had taught me this. It took me 20 years to learn from a bunch of different mentors and people and learning the hard way.
Right.
Of this, but again, I really just, and you said it also, Raph, I learn from everybody. But sometimes I just need people to make it plain, and not just make it plain. Don't be so passive about what you're teaching me. Like, it's okay to forcefully get me. People say you can't, like that's the big thing, right? You can't, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Yeah, you can. If I push your head under water long enough, you'll drink.
Yep.
So but that has to be the concept. If you really care enough about the people, insist that they do it. There's nothing wrong with that, especially knowing what we know. I think that's
funny
valuable.
that you say that. To me, that's one of the coolest things right there, because I'm pretty, if you've ever done business with me, I'm very straightforward. I'm very blunt. I'm going to hit you over the head with it, because if I know what I'm doing and it's going to be the best thing for you, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Right. I'm going to give it to you just like that and say, this is what you're doing.
Yep.
And some people have a hard time accepting that. Some don't. They see the true colors right there, and they go, this guy means business, because he knows what he's doing is the right thing, and we're just going to go with it. Right. And you make that right decision. How many times have you seen it turn around? You're like, we listened to you, and now we're on the path we wanted to be. Recently, a quick story. Recently, I helped a escrow rep. He's in the business. Came to me to help him with his loan. Had a little bit of a credit issue, this or that. I gave him some advice. 6 months later, after doing exactly what I told him for 6 months, credit increased 100 points, refinanced. Now he's investing, buying his first investment because of the game plan we set in motion. And it was because we knew what that path needed to be, and he listened, followed it, and now it's going to work in his favor, and it's going to be awesome.
Right.
So that's just great stuff to hear.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You know what? That actually brings me to a question, and it doesn't matter whichever one you guys want to answer it first. What is the one common myth about your profession or field that you want to maybe debunk?
I've said it before. It's like, the buy low, sell high. We make money. We make money when we buy. That thing that came out in the '90s and stuff. When like that's not real anymore. It's buy high, sell higher. If you're going to get a deal in the world today, because people are a lot smarter, information is available, readily available to a lot of people. There's no tricks to this. So at some point, if you're going to be in this game, when you're going to buy an actual legitimate asset in your lifetime that's going to support you and your family, take care of your kids and grandkids for the rest of your life, don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. And if you're doing it right, like was taking me years to learn, is don't buy on a budget. Don't buy based on your current budget. Buy the right thing and then go make the money for that thing or raise the money for that thing. Do something that you know. It's like buying a car. Like you may only be able to afford a car for $1,500. So you start looking at $1,500 cars. Worse, you start looking at $1,200 cars because you can only afford 15, right? Because you think you're going to get a good deal. But the reality of it is, if you take your $1,500 to the right dealership and you start looking at a car that's going to take care of you and your family, not break down on you and your wife or your husband when they're taking kids someplace, they'll probably finance you.
Right.
So now you're actually dealing in something that is the right thing for you long term versus buying on a budget. So that's the biggest myth I like to tell, especially for investors now. Like I've been on a rant about it. It's like you won't get a deal if you're trying to do that old strategy of buy low, sell high, buy high, sell higher. If you buy the right property, someone's always going to want in the future.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple things. I got a lot, but there are a couple things that first came to mind is I used to say, and this is I'm a humble guy. I used to say, I look at a scenario, break it down to the bare bones, and look at it and go, it's not going to get done. And then once or twice, it hasn't happened many times, but once or twice, it got done. And so I quit saying that. I quit guaranteeing that because there is the unusual, unique, every once in a while investor out there that will do a deal or somebody is able to push an underwriter to get them to agree to something and get the deal through. And so, number one, if there's a will, there's possibly a way. I won't say that something can never be done. But the one thing I'm going to say that a lot of lenders here in California won't like is how lenders get paid. You hear all these ads. Number one, the ads on the radio about 1%, when you were hearing them when the market was great, this were absolute BS, guys. They are getting you to call them so they can bait and switch you into something you actually qualify for.
Right.
But how a lender gets paid, one of two ways. They're either a direct lender and they work under a broker like myself, and they have to sign in a comp agreement. They cannot change their comp agreement. Every 90 days is the availability. So whatever they're signing, the rate that they offer you is the rate attached to their comp. So they can't necessarily negotiate anything different than that. As a direct lender, on my side of the thing, I can because I'm in the position I can choose not to make anything. I don't have to sign a comp agreement in those regards. When it comes to the wholesaling, I have to. So if a greedy person picks a large comp plan and they are attached to the rate that goes with that higher comp plan. So let's say they want to make 2%. Well, an ungreedy person says, I'm okay with a 0.5%, a 1%. I would rather get as much business as possible. Then their comp plan is attached to that and the rate is much lower. So the point I'm trying to make is make sure you talk to a couple different people. Don't let anyone tell you guarantee this or guarantee that. Talk to a couple different people. talk to us, and we'll give you the honest to God truth, and you can compare it, whatever the case may be, but the availability to what it is you're trying to get, there's a high possibility you're going to be able to get it, and there's a high possibility we're going to be able to get you the best deal.
That's great. You know what? I actually have a thing that we talk about all the time. Me and Sharon, my wife, talk about all the time. I'm like, when you don't pay people well, they're going to steal. And it doesn't mean always steal money. Sometimes they'll steal time. They'll take a little bit longer to do something or whatever, right? So, I mean, at some point, I mean, if you're looking at something, like you said, like, hey, it's 1%. We'll pay all your closing costs and fees and we'll bust you nothing, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, man, that guy don't call me back. Like, why would he? Like, he's working for nothing. Like, he has a family to take care of. He's working on a deal that's actually going to pay him. So, I mean, just be okay. Like, you can't expect to want to, like, you know, this guy's going to help you buy $1 million investment property or a home for you and your family. You're expecting him to not be able to take care of his by doing all that work. Because, again, I say this all the time. I think you guys are underpaid because people don't know the asinine amount of information you guys have to scroll through to get one guy this loan that he thinks that, no, man, I work. My credit's great. Like, I got money.
I never missed a payment. I should get a loan.
Yeah, you know what? And you should, but you guys should also, you know, like, as it relates to that, like, hey, you know, you guys should.
But you didn't work for the last 2 years.
Yeah, you guys should be compensated for putting that together.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
hey, you guys
so that's cool.
Absolutely right, man. So, hey, what we're going to do, I'm going to answer that question as well, but I'm going to wait till after we take a quick break, and then I'll answer that question when we get back. Again, Real Man of Real Estate, Raphael Davis here with Stephen Darling and Victor Bell. I'll see you guys right after the break.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
Okay, Raphael Davis here with the Real Man of Real Estate with my partner Stephen Darling and Vic Bell. Hey, so we're back after the break, really quick. So before we went to the break, if you're just tuning in, Steve and Vic answered a question that I asked them. I asked them the question. What was the question? I said, what is the one common myth about your profession and or field that you like to debunk, right? And so I didn't get a chance to answer it, but I'll answer it really, really quick at the top of this segment. And that's that they always need the absolute lowest rate in our field. That is so far from the truth. You know, there was this guy, you probably know this guy, he's a FBI negotiator, and it's like one of my favorite quotes. In fact, I was talking to Vic about it not so long ago. He said, never be so sure of what you want that you wouldn't take something better. right? And that happens a lot in our business because people come in and all they can think about is rate. Well, guys, if you're not gonna, most people are gonna refinance or sell the house, upgrade, something in the next 5 to 7 years.
Let's say 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years. Yeah. So if you're not gonna be there for 30 years, 30 years, then your idea of that rate or that APR can be way off. So, don't let the rate stop you. And I think that's one of the myths that I would like to debunk, that everything boils down to the absolute lowest rate. No, the best way to decide which loan you need is trying to figure out how long you're going to be in it. You need to figure out the true cost of the capital is basically what you're paying for. You're trying to figure out the true cost of it. And if you're not looking at it that way, then you can really be hurting yourself.
It was a deal that Raph and I just recently worked on. It was probably 6 months ago, a VA deal. We were getting shopped, and we, it was someone that had a lower credit score. We got them the very lowest rate, 2.25%, which was insane. But we were getting shopped, and 6 months later, they sold the place. That effort that they put in to work us down to nothing wasn't even needed for the fact that they didn't need that rate. They were going to sell, they were getting restationed. They were trying to make as much money as possible. So what they should have done was got all their closing costs paid for, so they would have made a higher profit on their sale. They would have got a higher return.
Right.
But instead, they got to say they got the lowest rate for 6 months. Now, that's exactly the myth that Raph's talking about, because was that the best game plan? No. We're always going to help you put the best game plan together and give you the best advice. Of course, we're going to do whatever you want us to, but we'll try to help you see what works best for you numerically.
And I think we're all kind of saying the same thing with all of these myths, even though we're sitting on different sides of the table. Like I said, with yourself being in hard money, yourself kind of specializing in the conventional, me being a buyer. Don't be cheap. Every one of us has a myth about our own industries. Like, we're trying to express to people, like, look, if you want to do great in this business, I'm saying don't go in trying to beat every property up that you're trying to win. You're saying don't come up and try to be like, hey, I'm trying to crush you on the rate. You're saying, hey, don't come in and try to crush us on the points. Yeah. So like right off the bat, like, I think we're all saying the same thing. But the reason why, like, somebody can listen and say, yeah, because they're selling it, like they're in the business. Well, but we're trying to help people learn how to become really efficient at the thing that we're doing. Right. So I think this is more valuable to anyone else to be like, man, what is the myth about what it is that you guys are doing? And it's less about a belief anymore. This is moved to now through the experience. Like, how do you succeed? With working with us.
The hardest part I find, and you might find this as well, is conveying that to especially those who are the hardest person you've ever worked with is friends and family, right? Conveying that to those that you love, that you care about, like. I literally pretty much lost a friendship because they chose a different situation because they thought they were getting a better deal. When I broke it all down, my deal was better by $1,000. Not a ton, not a lot, not a big amount, but $1,000 a year. And I broke it all down to show them, but because my rate was higher, felt that I was trying to do something that wasn't in their best interest, when their best interest was 100% in my mind. And so, like you said, honestly, cheap and look at it from the big picture. Look at it from a loving perspective. These guys right here, they're going to give you the best. Right. And the hard part is understanding that, believing that, and we know that, and just hopefully give us that opportunity.
And honestly, we were taught that. Right, I was taught that as well. Try to get the best deal. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Debt's bad. Like, all these different things. Those are money lessons that we've all been taught by, people, our parents. Their parents taught them that because at the time that did make sense. Maybe, I don't know. But given today though, like you have to look and go, okay, well, all debt is not bad debt. There's good debt. There's bad debt. Consumer debt and all that stuff. Fine. But we're talking about real estate, and we're talking about assets and creating wealth or making investments, right? Or a single family home for yourself, whatever. So just that alone, like, here's that money doesn't grow on trees. Don't get into debt. Pay off all your credit cards. Like, all these different things. But I know business owners who's like, dude, we lived our first 10 years off credit cards with our businesses. That's how we paid bills, payroll. They kept the lease open. But then later they cracked, and they're like, thank God for our credibility to be credible. Right.
It was a
but
great
most
example.
people aren't taught that.
Like what you're talking about, I actually had a great example that about 2 years ago helped a gentleman, super sharp guy, really a lot of fun to work with. His dad told him, and I'm so glad that his dad told him this. His dad told him, it's going to be your first purchase. Go to the max out your debt to income ratio. Buy as much as you possibly can. That guy bought in North Park for like $630,000. He was maxed out. You know what that place is worth today? Within 2 simple years, over $1 million. Do you think his dad was correct? 100%.
Absolutely.
And you know what? But it takes that though. Like I said, I mean, and I think that's the benefit of it, right? So like, you know, we talked about any like I said, that was one of my mistakes, man. I should have been using more debt. I shouldn't have been trying to figure out how to do no money down deals in the beginning. I should have been like, okay, how do I, you know, get a partner, do whatever I need to do. Then while that's happening, kind of like go off and build my credibility, go build more, go try to get more debt, right? That didn't come until later. Unfortunate, again, I don't poo-poo on my skills now, you know, because I have a skill set that a lot of people don't. Because what it caused me to do was understand financing.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
With all that experience, one thing that I've had the hardest time really just kind of grasping and taking that leap. When in your career did you feel comfortable enough to take that leap of faith and partner up with somebody, or take that step and taking on debt? When did you find, I know enough, I'm comfortable enough, or you know what, I'm just going to take this risk and see how it plays out? When did you feel comfortable enough to take that step?
You know, honestly, and I'm just being totally transparent, I never saw debt the way most people do, or credit and financing, right? So because I started off, I didn't have it, so I was like, oh my gosh, like dude, if I could get a loan, I would. Like, I didn't have a job.
Let's say instead of the word debt, let's say help.
You mean like from a partner?
Partner or hiring an employee?
I started off with a partner. So like I found a deal and found a partner, and they put the money together. They owned a mortgage company.
Right off the get-go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So but I didn't know what I was doing. I was willing to work. I bought the book. I went out there. I made those phone calls. I hustled. So at some point, somebody saw that. So I was like, man, like you guys have it so easy. Do you know what it would be like if I could sign my name on a dotted line, right? But because I didn't have a job, I didn't have income, I couldn't go do that, because in order for you to get financing, you need income.
Right.
At the time.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I didn't have that. But my problem was I didn't need it. So therefore, it didn't become a priority for me, because I was like, dude, I'll just go get a partner. Dude, I'll use their credit. I'll help them. I'll do all the work. They go make the money.
JV.
So I still do.
Right.
That's what raising capital is. And if you think about it, Blackstone, KKR, Goldman Sachs, they raise money. They're in the OPM business, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Right. So to answer your question, at no point do you really need to feel comfortable. You just need to understand what your skill is. Like right now, you can go do it.
Right.
Right. So
I feel comfortable now.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, it just nobody taught me. I was doing it not knowing.
What about from a business owner perspective, hiring help, say like the position you were in, say 10 years ago?
I'll say this as a business owner. I'll say this as a business owner. It is your responsibility to hire, to bring on people. You're not supposed to trust them. You're supposed to bring on people. As a matter of fact, you hear me say it all the time. The only time I care is if I only got one. If I only got one person, then yeah, I care when that person don't shows up. I care when that person's not doing his job. You need 10 people out there hustling for you, and then when one of those drop dead in the seat, pull his body out of the seat, pop somebody else back in there. Because then you're not in the trust factor. You're building a business. You're supposed to use debt. You're supposed to use financing. You're supposed to use human capital. Right. So because then at some point, and I'll say this about about business and building. This is my opinion, okay? My learned knowledge, that the biggest concern for most people is they're afraid, right? What if the person doesn't work as hard as me? They're not gonna. If they did, they would have had their own business. So the expectation is, let's say they work 50% as hard as you, and you have 10 people. That's 500% of yourself happening, whether you're not gonna stop working. Right. And then once you get people, your job is to make sure they have work. So that way you don't feel bad about firing them. Like, dude, I'm sending you leads, you're not following them up. You got first time you're talked to, second time you're written, third time you're gone. Yeah. Like, that doesn't equate, but you need to have at least 150 employees. You hear me say it all the time. And it's not an arbitrary number. I know for a successful company, an organized company, you need 10 departments. That means 10 people per department or whatever it is, functioning the right way. Again, I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, because I'm going to build a multi-billion-dollar real estate portfolio, and it cannot be done by myself. I cannot be
Gotcha.
afraid to.
Right.
So that said, like for you guys already have the platform. You got the warehouse.
Got the platform. It's
got the
taking
money.
that next step.
Do it, dude.
Into the
The
next
only way
level.
to take the next step is to take the next step.
And we
So-
right? And,
Right.
and we talked about that. So it's
Yep.
coming. You know,
Yep.
it's coming. We're going to finish out the goals for this year, and next year it's going to be coming. So let's go ahead and take another quick little break, and then we'll get back to that topic because it's a powerful one. Again, Raphael Davis, the Real Man of Real Estate, with Stephen Darling and Victor Bell. I'll see you guys after the break.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections. Hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
Okay, Raphael Davis, Real Man of Real Estate with Stephen Darling and Vic Bell. Man, we've been having a great show if you're just tuning in. We still have a little time left. So I just kind of want to open it up to you guys. I was going to ask another question, but then it slipped my mind. But I'll just tell you my thought process. I think when you're getting in this business right away, and I think sometimes people fail to do it because I kind of found myself doing it early on, and that is actually learning, knowing your product, studying, education, like say, so even training. So, like when you guys, what do you guys think when you bring someone on to a company? Like if you're going to be bringing them on to a company, if they have a function or if they're doing something, what do you think is one of the first things that they must learn? Because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot the numbers, but I know a lot of it is marketing, sales. What is it?
It's marketing, sales, and operations, but 70% of your time should be spent on marketing and sales. That's all. That's the only revenue generating activity in a business.
Activity in a business, because the operations part or the admin part, that's a lower percent, and then there's what else? What's the other part?
Either the product.
The product itself.
Right.
So we do need to learn it. So I'm just wondering, because I fear what I've run across in the past, like. Sometimes people will go and they'll get licenses and different things like that. And then once they pass the test, they get the license, and then they kind of stop the learning part,
Right.
and start thinking about money. I want to earn, I want to make a lot of money, I want to make a lot of money. But they forget that, I think that's going to be in relation to your knowledge, of what you're doing, of the subject, things that you got to put together.
That I think that translates really well with you is the financial portion of that. For myself, just going off of that real quick, not to interrupt you.
Oh, no.
But is that statement in regards to that is learning is I've say take two outstanding salespeople. They get their license. One just works on sales and kicks butt at selling, and he makes $200,000 a year. But the other guy, he works on sales, but takes time to understand his product and learn even more about what's available and out there, and finds ways to help people that this other guy couldn't help, and he makes $400,000 a year. That to me is the difference.
Gotcha. So that educational piece.
Well, I think that second piece, again, and you're absolutely right about that, man. That takes time. So it's like, I always think, okay, first thing, product knowledge. You need to understand your product knowledge. Even if you're not good at it, don't not know. That's like a household thing. And I said, don't not know. Yes, but don't not know.
Right. Which is hard these days to find.
Right. So like, I'd rather you say, I don't know. Let me ask somebody. That's a part of our mortgage department. That let me ask one of our underwriters. Let me do this. And then don't not know. Don't know where to not get the information like what you're talking about. Be resourceful. Not But to answer your question, number one, first thing is training, and second is sales. Like, you should constantly be in a state of training yourself to be better at your product and training yourself to be better at sales. And you guys are more naturally, there's guidelines that come out, there's new things that need to be happening, there's always meetings, conferences, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of horizon type information that needs to happen. But during that, heavy sales, like if you can't convert, it doesn't matter. And similar to what you're saying, in marketing to me is senior to sales. So like if you have more people to talk to, you will get better at product knowledge and you'll get better at sales because you have more times at bat.
Right.
But that falls along, that becomes a responsibility of the executive, business owner, right? So it's like, my job is to make you efficient first so you make some money, two, so you become efficient. Right. Because you're going to quit if you're just efficient but you're broke, and that becomes it's like having a kid. Like, I got to make sure you eat. So similar to what you're saying, absolutely, man, because you do find that's how you become elite. We talk about being an average person, a professional, average salesperson, a professional salesperson, or an elite. Elite knows what they're doing and how to do it. Right. So and I think
with
you
a
guys,
purpose, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like absolutely. I said, that's key. A purpose. Right. For sure. I love that.
Yeah.
That's definitely where we're heading and what we're going to do, and we plan on doing the exact same thing, man. Building a big empire, to create that legacy for our families.
You guys got it. Honestly, the biggest thing is going to be the fact that you guys are together, and you guys together, product knowledge, man. It's on top. It's unseen,
it's
and unheard
an
of.
amazing, unique situation.
Yeah.
And I think we grasp it every day, but I don't even know if we grasp it to the weight that it should be grasped. And what we're trying to do is really time manage and figure out how do we help as many people as we can, or get in front of the right people, or talk to the right people to help as many people or businesses or whatever that we can with all these availabilities.
Right.
So that's what we're looking for.
We're
trying to do.
Yeah. Hey guys, we got a lot of money. Come get it.
Like free money.
Yeah, come get this money from us, man. Yeah. So, hey guys, well let's do this. I want to make sure everyone knows how to contact each of us respectively. Yeah, is that right? Respectively. Yeah. So it's been a long day, so my brain is a little fried, but. So D&D Capital Solutions, private money lenders, from bridge loans to fix and flip loans to construction loans. I mean, whatever. We have it for you. You also have your darling lender. Every government loan that's possible out there, from the conventional side, that you need. VA, FHA, non-QM.
What is non-QM?
Non-qualified mortgage.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Qualified mortgages.
Fannie Mae, Freddie.
Fannie Mae, Freddie.
So you still have to get a manual underwrite DU or LP approval. I'm saying words you're not probably going to understand. But as long as you get that, you can do a qualified mortgage under a non-QM, non-qualified product. Does that make sense? It's kind of it's a funky little twist, but it allows us to do loans for self-employed people, bank statements, stuff like that.
That's the key right there. Yeah, for sure.
And those bank statements is key. 12 months is good, 24 months is better. But guess what?
And we've got programs that'll take 3.
Wow.
Right, and for all you guys out there like hiding money because you write off everything in your businesses, you might want to get in contact with these guys. Well, because they, like I said, they're going to tell you how to do it the right way, so you don't actually, cut off your nose and spite your face.
Absolutely. So that's D&D Capital Solutions. So that's www.ddcapital.biz. And Your Darling Lender, that's www.yourdarlinglender.com. And we have
VictorBell.com. Man, just like my name, just with a .com behind it. Or you guys can go to bell-capital.com and you can see what we're doing with our real estate.
Nice. Hey, there you go, guys. So anyone out there listening, hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was great. Contact us. I mean, if you want to get going, we got you covered. We got the financing. If you want to get those multifamily units, reach out to Vic Bell. He got it covered. He's also a best-selling author, so pick up one of his books. Bill, Vic, can you name them really quick?
Yeah, how to create wealth through investing in apartment buildings. You need more cash flow. Everybody should have that book. Matter of fact, that should just be a book you read to your kids at night before they go to bed. And you can get 30 Days of War as well. That's another great book.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Again, signing off, Raphael Davis, Real Men of Real Estate, with Stephen Darling, Victor Bell. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Take care.
KCAA Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio